Let's take a maxi, vroom, vroom, vroom. I want to visit Shagaramas, and I won't be riding any llamas. It would be nice to see Takafali. I'll go with my family, my mommy and my daddy. My friend can come too. Dawson's part of my crew.
Welcome back to the Now Morning Show, and that is Lola and Dawson, because they want to take us on a road trip throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And Lola, if you would remember, is part of the Lola Book Collection. And this morning, the author joins us, Miss Mary Coffey, along with the amazing teacher and the vocalist, that voice you were hearing, who is part of the book as well, Miss Esther Daphne. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Mary, I know that you're no stranger to the show. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
But just to remind us about who Lola is, because I see Lola has a friend this time, but just to remind us about who Lola is, tell us about the book series, and even before that, what inspired Lola?
Lola have a very long history. I am an educator. While we were on this particular workshop, we were exploring learning in the outdoors, and that's where Lola popped up, this particular ladybug, and she was just so cute. And we also visited right here in Port of Spain, Lola's for breakfast.
Right, yes, that's why it's along Tragree Road, yes.
Right,
yes.
And of course that brought the name home, because in all my books, I look at rhyming and repetition, and that particular word stood out to me. I said, yes, I wanted that word. I wanted to use that name, Lola. So Lola came from one of the workshops with the teachers, looking at learning in the outdoors, where I think children are happiest. And when we write, sometimes we focus on girls, but I think I wanted to include boys and girls, and I think that little insect moving, I think they would have just loved it.
Nice.
Right.
So Lola is a ladybug, and Dawson is?
Dawson is a boy.
He's a boy. So this is boy carrying this ladybug.
Yes.
And where did that idea come from?
Well, it's a book series. As you for those of you who don't know about Lola, Lola started just teaching children to count.
Yes.
And then Lola talked about the steel pan, and she's also in the form of a cookie. And as you keep writing, you keep thinking about what you want children to know, what you want them to learn, because the focus is, of course, letting them understand this whole idea and rich history of Trinidad. And I wanted to include someone with Lola to go on her road trip. But who's best? You might say, let me put a girl name, and what I say, no, let me get a boy. Again, to get them too interested in reading, to develop that love for reading and that love for learning. So I decided, let's go with a boy.
Of course. And of course, paired with that love for reading and love for learning, we also have the love of singing. So I'm going to bring you in here as well, Esther. Tell us about the collaboration with Mary, and also tell us too about the type of songs you would have chosen to put in this book.
Well, the collaboration with Mary actually started on World Read Aloud Day. That is where we were connected. I was tasked with gathering some local authors to do some readings at my primary school, which is Lucius Private.
Right.
And this was during COVID, the height of the pandemic, so we were online. And I would have reached out to my network and got in contact with Mary and realized that, hey, this is an awesome book. And she kept coming to our school to do season events and so on, reading and her stories, because they were very applicable to some of the activities we were doing, for instance, Carnival.
Yes.
And then I think we had a mutual background in music, and she said, I'm doing this book, and I wanted to make it a little musical, and I know you're involved in various activities, musical activities, and I said, sure. And when I looked at the book, and I said, okay, so it's locally based, it's a road trip through Trinidad, and in terms of the music, I wanted to be familiar, as well as have that sort of local essence to it. Yeah. So as you progress through the book, originally it starts off, very sing-songy, how a child will kind of make up a song, as they just get words and they add some sort of melody to it. But as we get to the destinations, you start to get a more Caribbean sort of finished it. Yeah.
Now, I know we got a taste of it, about maybe 10, 30 seconds of it in the beginning. Tell us about that particular song, some of the words and stuff that children can hear.
So there's a lot of repetition, which really plays a huge part in development and that memory, you know. So, and kids love repetition. They love songs that they could relate to. You don't want to make it too difficult, or you don't want the notation to be too complex for them. It has to be something that is readily able for them to just pick up and sing along with and have a good time.
Yeah. Nice, interesting. I mean, but I'm coming back to Lola and I'm coming back to you, Mary, because I wanted to know what in this particular book would excite children and encourage them to want to read about Lola and her adventures.
Of course, the book talks about this road trip to Shagaramas. This is part of their reality, visiting a place in their country. And for the children who will never be able to visit Shagaramas, so probably living too far, probably can't make it, they don't have the finances, this book is actually taking the reality and giving them that sort of fantasy. You get down there and all the exciting things that you could see. So I think this is what will probably make the children want to read about it more. In addition, I personally like the sing-alongs because I first gave the book to the Shagaramas Development Authority to look at it, and they were excited about it. And when the actual launch of the book, the children was able to see all the things that we read about. They were actually able to experience it. So they went down the islands. We also had a bus tour where they were able to see the Bamboo Cathedral, and of course going down the islands. Who doesn't love to go down the islands, right? And visiting the caves. And that's one of the first parts of the book. So they are actually getting to see what is in their country. If they have never experienced it, they're going to get it here.
In the book.
And I mean, the songs, you're going to be singing. I actually saw a little girl chipping.
So that's my next question. How are they going to learn the songs? Like, is there a site they can go to hear the music?
Yes,
That's 1 and 2. I also understand there's a road trip game as well. So tell us what more we can see in the book.
Okay, so let me, as you said, the road trip, let me just go to the road trip one. The game. I have created a game because, of course, the children were on the screens a lot. So we actually have a game that you could buy and play. You will learn more about the road signs. So a road trip, of course, when we take children on a road trip, we're not just going to reach the destination. We're actually going to see things on the road. You're seeing the traffic lights, the different signs, what they mean. So the game will help the children with that. Of course, the counting and the literacy, everything involved in the game. Was the last?
The sing-along.
The sing-alongs. So, of course, you just scan the code, which will be given to you once you get this, and you go on to my Facebook page, and you get the song. For the schools that, you know, actually ask you to come out and read, I have now, I take Esther's voice along with me all the places that I go to sing with me, and I have the words there. But, of course, the Lola's page, my Facebook page, the songs are there. I put them on so people can have them and, you know, sing along with the children.
And just remind us about your Facebook page, where we can find you.
It's Lola and the Dancing Ladybugs on Facebook.
Are you also on Instagram or any other channels?
I'm not on Instagram, but I am on Facebook.
Active on Facebook. Let me thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. We are unfortunately out of time, but I'm giving you 30 seconds, Mary, only. It's International Literacy Day. We have a ton of authors here in TNT. Just to give some advice to those who might be a bit, you know, timid or a bit scared of venturing into that world of writing their own novels. Any advice you can give them on this particular day?
I want to say to you, if that's your dream, do it. There's always fear, but the absence of fear, you will push through. So put aside fear and push through.
Well, we have about 10 more seconds. Esther, your turn.
For new authors coming forward, same thing basically, you know, just do it. There's a market for it. We always want new content out there. People, you know, people want books for their kids. You know, what you think may not be, you know, you may feel, you know, a bit overwhelmed by the prospect, but just take the chance and continue with it. It's good work.
It's good work. Well, happy International Literacy Day, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, and all the best with the book and what you continue to do, Mary and Esther.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And of course, that was author Mary Coffey and a teacher and vocalist Esther Daphna Amugram, who is featured on the new book by Mary. And they're talking about a road trip adventure with Lola and Dawson. On the Now Morning Show, we're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.
Come, let we go. Let we take a road trip. Well, I leave in my home cause I done ready. Ready to get on board. Ready to see me.